For the past week, all who's has kept watch over the biggest prize in team badminton, the serenity of the city, in sharp contrast to the cut and thrust of competition a few miles away. Now we've reached the penultimate day, and just across town from the futuristic Botanic Gardens, the seeds have been sown for an epic semi-final. Indonesia versus Denmark. Anyone who says badminton's just about Asia will look at that map. There are the competing nations across Africa, with Algeria and Egypt here this week. Plenty of competing nations from Europe. We've also got Canada there in North America, and even Tahiti, who won a match earlier this week. Now though, in the Thomas Cup, we are down to just 4 nations. This is where it gets really serious. We'll be concentrating on Indonesia against Denmark, as mentioned. That's on court 1. The other semi, the defending champions China taking on arch rivals Japan. That's across on court 2. We really could not have scripted it any better. Well, this of course is a repeat of the final of 2016. Denmark won that by 3 matches to 2. It wouldn't be a major surprise if we have a similar scoreline one way or the other in 4 or 5 hours' time. Couldn't have a better location for it either. Well, we have an absolute belter first up. The in-form Anthony Ginting tackling Olympic champion Viktor Axelsen. It's 4-all in the head-to-head between those two. World number 1 men's doubles pairing, Gideon and Sukamuljo, are up next. It'll be Astrup and Rasmussen facing the music there for the Danes. Another intriguing singles to follow, with Anders Antonsen in the form of his life, hoping to put the heat on world number 7, Jonathan Christie. Then, if required, the second doubles featuring the long-established pair of Alfian and Ardianto. They'll start favourites against Christensen and Sugor. And if the score does go 2-all, Rustavito and Vittinghus will be centre stage. The latter won the deciding singles in Denmark's only Thomas Cup triumph 5 years ago. My name is Trevor Harris, alongside badminton legend Morten Frost. Good afternoon, Morten.
Good afternoon.
This is going to be fantastic, isn't it?
It is going to be so interesting. I'm so looking forward to it. And I couldn't concur with you. Your opening is so good, and you set the stage very nicely.
Well, just look at those stats. 389 for Axelsen. Still obviously living the dream after that phenomenal triumph in Tokyo. But it's the Indonesian entering first. There's Anthony Ginting, who's had a pretty good week, just the 1 defeat so far. Axelsen, of course, is unbeaten. Not just unbeaten, but he's cruised through most of his matches as well. But interesting, Morten, that it is 4-all on the head-to-head, so there won't be any inferiority complex, I wouldn't have thought, for Ginting this afternoon.
No, but one has to remember that Axelsen has actually won the last 2 in 2021. So the last 2 encounters has gone the Danes' way.
Stand by for the roof to come off the Ceres Arena. Well, they're welcoming one of their own here. One of the most popular sportsmen in Denmark, the Olympic champions in the arena. And with it, there are massive expectation levels. What about home support this afternoon, Morten? Is that going to be a factor? We can see the Danish fans obviously massively outnumbering the few Indonesians that are in the arena today.
Yes, but I think it can actually be a factor. And so very often when tournaments like this are played, it's in Asia, and the Asian countries are having that home ground advantage. But this time it's taken away from them. And on top of that, it is Denmark where the big support for the Danish team. So yes, I do think so.
Well, you saw that last meeting between them, as Morten was mentioning. Axelsen's actually won 3 of the last 4, and the one that Ginting actually won, it was a retirement from the Danes. So, as you mentioned, he has had the evil eye on Ginting recently, but the Indonesian has beaten him in the past. Terrific atmosphere. How great is it to have spectators back, especially a pretty full arena like this?
It's really wonderful. We've been treated to silent stadiums for a year or so, and it's really wonderful to have spectators back.
Yeah, you really just don't want to hear the sound of your own voice. There's Ginting, ranked number 5. He's been up at number 3, as you see. That was back in February of last year. Olympic bronze in Tokyo, lost out to Chen Long at the Olympics. He does have a Thomas Cup silver medal from 2016 and a bronze from a few years ago as well. And the last big tournament he won was the Indonesian Masters 2020. That was a Super 500. That one long match against Wang Charawan that went nearly an hour and a half, but other than that, he's been largely untroubled. Good win against Zhou Tianchen as well. And on the other side of the court, the unmistakable figure of Viktor Axelsen, who's been absolutely serene so far in his progress in this tournament. Ranked number 2, he of course has been up at number 1 previously. You may well remember that final of the Olympics when he beat Chen Long in straight games. Of course, he got a bronze in Rio in 2016 and 8 major titles over the last 3 years in addition to the Olympics. As I was mentioning this week, really hasn't been overly tested. Christo Popov did take a game off him, the Frenchman. Axelsen came through 21-8 in a one-sided third game, but other than that, it's been pretty much plain sailing. Man in charge of this opener is Philip Leung-Chi of the United States, and he will be supported by the Estonian service judge, Iris Metspalu. I think if Ginting is to have any chance here, Morton, he's got to get off to a fast start, because we've seen already this week, if Axelsen gets ahead early, he's a pretty good front runner.
I agree with you. If you want to put Axelsen under pressure, you've got to do it from the beginning. You've got to unsettle him. And Ginting has got what it takes to do it, because he's got the pace. He's probably the fastest men's singles player in the whole world, Ginting. So he's got that pace it takes to put Axelsen under pressure, but he's got to play well.
That shot shows you the height differential.
Yeah.
It's around about 9 inches taller Viktor Axelsen than Ginting, 6'4" against 5'7". But that really doesn't mean a great deal.
It's an outstanding record for Axelsen. He's been in the final of the last 9 tournaments, and he's won 6 of them, so he is definitely a man in form.
Represented by Sinisuka Ginting. And on my left, Denmark, represented by Viktor Axelsen.
Well, there's an electric atmosphere in here even before a shuttle's been struck. Here we go then. Thomas Cup semi-final. Denmark trying to get themselves to tomorrow's showpiece match on home soil. And every point that Axelsen wins is going to be greeted by a crescendo of noise, whether it's a winner or whether it's a Ginting error, as that was.
Yeah, that's a very nice shot. The return of serve from Ginting, that reverse, completely catching Axelsen on the wrong foot. An easy goal at the net. And that's what, of course, Indonesia would like to see a lot more often. That he's got that pace and he's got beautiful technique.
Line judge extended the arms, crowd responded.
That's out. I think Ginting did the right thing in his attack. He was going straight down the line to the forehand side of Axelsen, which, again, if you can talk about a weaker point, that's probably one of the weaker points in Axelsen's game.
Yeah, he's already trying to mix it up a bit as well, isn't he, Ginting? We saw that at the point that he won. Getting Axelsen on the stretch.
See, once again. Yeah. See, that's the weakness in front of him on the forehand side.
Service over.
Yeah, there aren't many secrets, are there? The top players these days. Everyone watches the videos, they know everything.
They know it all. That's out, I think. It's called in.
May have just hit the line and Axelsen had a good view and he's not challenging.
Yeah.
But again, same strategy from Ginting has worked there.
Yeah, he's catching Axelsen on the front court with some really nicely disguised shots. See, that's the pace. Out.
Yeah, the crowd's cheer was a little premature there, wasn't it?
But it showed, this rally, it showed that Ginting is really the one in the world that can put Viktor under pressure when it comes to pace. He is phenomenal when it comes to pace. And look again, we're playing a lot of delayed shots, making sure that Axelsen always have to double guess it. There's Rasmus Gemke in the picture. A player that's not selected to play today in the men's singles.
It is very much a squad game, this. We've seen a lot of nations mixing and matching over the last week because they came here, a lot of them off the back of the Sudirman Cup in Vanta just a few days earlier. They've played a lot of badminton over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. These two players really shared a big load of all the matches from their team matches in Vanta, as you say, and now here in the Thomas Cup. I think they've virtually played all of the matches, these two players, except 1 or 2. See, look at the pace again. Axelsen have to lift. Well, that's a good response from Axelsen, using his height to play a very, very steep shot.
That's the other issue for Ginting. If you let Axelsen play that shot from well inside the back line, you're always going to be in trouble.
Yeah, he's got an awesome attack. As a junior player, he was winning on his attack, but then moving into the senior ranks, that attack was not strong enough, and his defence, normally when junior players are coming out to senior badminton, the defence is quite poor. So he was learning his defence skills first as a senior, and the attack was a little bit on the back burner, but in the last, let's say, 3 or 4 years, his attack has really improved again. And that's wide.
What might concern Ginting a little bit, excuse me, in these early stages, even though it's only a couple of points adrift, but most of the 7 points that Axelsen has won actually come from Ginting errors rather than winners from Dane. That was good.
And if you're an Indonesian fan, this is what you don't want to see.
A minority, but a noisy minority. One of the great features of Team Badminton. Most of the other team members here and to encourage and cheer on. There we go. Now, this is I love this impromptu drum. An old biscuit tin and a water bottle.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's good lead. It's a proud father there.
9-6.
Yeah, that was the father of Viktor Axelsen with the glasses at the back.
Yeah, just a few errors creeping in now to Ginting's game.
Yeah, I'm all with you. I completely understand what you said when you said that it is concerning for Ginting that he's making so many unforced errors. He's actually in control in the rallies due to his pace, but suddenly just mistakes are coming from the racket, and he cannot afford to do that. And you can see Axelsen is simply just sitting back, waiting, because he knows the mistakes are coming in.
Oh yes, what a great way for Axelsen to go into the mid-game interval, and with a very handy lead.
Well, 20 seconds. First one, 20 seconds.
I don't know any Danish, but I'm assuming the rough translation of that was pretty much, or at least the abbreviated version, keep doing what you're doing. Ginting will need to find some answers now. Otherwise this first game might be all over pretty quickly.
And that's awesome play. Really, really well played again from Axelsen. He's staying cool, calm and collected. And yes, he is under pressure, but he's playing some solid shots and staying very, very focused. Waiting for his chances.
Almost impossible to quantify the level of, or the injection of confidence you get with an Olympic gold medal on the sideboard. Only a few months ago, he's just been carrying everything before him over the world, even before the Olympics.
13-6.
And so pivotal as well, the first match in the tie, just to set the tone. And if you look on form, and the perceived expert view would suggest that Denmark will be stronger generally in the singles and the Indonesians in the doubles. But if Axelsen, as appears the case, does get Denmark off to a flyer, it does put pressure straight away on Gideon and Sukamuljo, first up in the doubles for Indonesia after this match.
Far too many mistakes from Ginting. He cannot afford that. That smash calling the doubles player, the tall doubles player, is 205. Very, very tall player. Axelsen is only the second tallest player in the team.
Yeah, remind me not to book a seat behind him in the theatre. You'd see a lot.
You wouldn't see anything.
Well, the score really does have a lopsided look to it now. Ginting just can't get anything going.
And this
That's
is
a
it.
gift as well.
Yeah, this is it. Nicely played from Ginting. But as you say, the score is very lopsided, Trevor. 16-7, and I can't remember Axelsen actually making a mistake. He's made very, very few errors in this opening game so far.
Just toying with him at times. Just inside the sideline from Ginting.
8-17.
So a change of shuffle, but I'm not sure it's going to change the dynamic of this opening game. Axelsen just 4 points away from securing it.
Once again, this really good smash, good angle, steepness from Axelsen around the head situation. But it's interesting. It's not a full smash. It's like a 70% smash. But that's why he can play them so accurate, because he's going for placement rather than for the pace and power.
And Ginting just hasn't had an answer so far. In his mind, he's almost certainly given up this first game. What a shot that was. Well, placement and power, and then the subtlety to produce an angle like that, and have the vision to see the shot and then execute it.
Yeah, not bad, as we would say in Danish. We're slightly sarcastic at times.
They enjoyed that.
It's an Axelsen in total control. That rally was a very fine example of it. Whatever he did, just turning to gold. And Ginting has absolutely no answers to it. So it's a tough one for Ginting at the moment.
Hasn't got many friends in the stands either. So 12 game points here for the world number 2.
Okay.
Might not try that serve again in a hurry.
20.
Well, winning a point at 28 down, almost like getting your last meal as a condemned man. It's not going to make any difference to who's going to win this opening game.
From now on, it's pure cosmetics.
Points to 9, about as comprehensive as you could possibly wish for if you're a supporter of Danish badminton. I'm sure his dad approves, and so do they.
It's Viktor Axelsen in the picture, and he's the 5th men's singles in the Danish team. Has not been selected to play in any of the matches.
Just tell us, Morten, from a Danish point of view, the impact that Viktor Axelsen has had, and how much has he loved in this country, especially after bringing home that gold medal from Tokyo.
Yeah, of course he's a big star in Denmark, and he's keeping badminton alive here in the country together with Anders Antonsen. They really do a great job, both of them, and I think a lot of people here in Denmark would probably say that his gold at the Olympics was one of the biggest.
Well, we'll see Anders Antonsen in the second men's singles, which is the 3rd match of the tie. Meanwhile, if you're Anthony Ginting, or Anthony Ginting's coach, where on earth do you go after being completely taken to the cleaners in an opening game?
I think that Ginting have to try to play his shots more to the centre of the court. It sounds perhaps a little bit silly, but what happens then is that it doesn't give Axelsen any angles to play if you sort of go centre. And I think that's what he's got to do. Of course, when the opportunity is there, then go for the big ones and try to score the points. But try to centralise as many shots as possible, giving Axelsen as little angles to play. That will be my strong advice to Ginting. And then, of course, use his speed. And by playing shots to the centre as well, maybe he will not make so many unforced errors.
Well, we're about to find out. Game 2 underway in a few moments. Well, nearly, but not quite, from Axelsen. Not a great bit of drift in this arena. Ginting's actually gone long a few times, several occasions in the first game, and again there.
That's scored in.
nice shot.
Denmark challenges called in.
Needs a lot more of that. Axelsen is challenging this. Not sure that it's going to get any joy. Does it look good at first sight?
Challenge unsuccessful. One challenge remaining. Service order.
2 challenges per player per game, and obviously if you're correct, you can keep the challenge.
Play.
Dejected kind of body language that Ginting's displaying at the moment.
I was just about saying it. I completely concur with you. That did not look good. It looks like he's losing faith very, very quickly on his own ability to score points. And then, of course, all the mistakes that's coming from the racket is definitely not making it any easier.
Yeah, and all that's going to do is encourage Axelsen even more. Good lead.
This is one of the areas where I really think that Ginting is very, very good. That's his backhand defence. His ability to play these cross courts from his backhand. That's a really good shot. And when he played Momota, when Momota was at his best, that was very often the shot that was saving him.
Well, we've seen many times that momentum can change quickly in this sport. If Ginting can keep it close or close-ish on the scoreboard, he might at some point find a little bit of confidence and a bit of mojo.
Yeah, and if he add on some pressure on his service return, because Axelsen is not the best of service when he's under pressure. So that's an area where Ginting can sort of look at options as well. But Axelsen is just keeping it so tight. Doesn't seem to be phased at all.
Yeah, and so few errors from the Dane as well, so...
That's wide.
5-4.
Well, that's been the problem for Ginting so far, total lack of consistency. He's an excellent winner and then follows it with a bit of a cheap sacrifice to the point. Axelsen back on level terms at 5-all. Have some of that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic shot.
7-5.
Trying to have a look at this one. Just the sheer elevation, and then of course look at that smash, the steepness virtually on the line.
Service over 6-7. Wait.
Had a long time to think about that, Axelsen, didn't he? Was eyeing the shuttle up and down as it descended towards the back of the court, but it was just long.
8-6.
But it was just about this point in the first game when Axelsen just basically sprinted clear of Ginting. I think he went from being relatively close, and Axelsen had a 3 or 4 point lead at the interval, following a very similar pattern here.
Yeah, Ginting really has to watch out now. The next 2 points, if Axelsen gets to 11-7 at the interval, then he's got to watch out. But one have to say it's simply not what Axelsen is doing to Ginting, it's what Ginting is doing to himself. That's the whole trick in this match. Axelsen is just keeping it simple, steady, safe, sitting back, waiting, and the mistakes are creeping in to the game of Ginting the whole time. He's doing it to himself.
'Well, it was great retrieving by Axelsen, and that tells you what that point meant to him. He looked a big favourite, Ginting, mid-rally. Not the case. And there is a 4-point gap now as they go to the mid-game interval. And as you said, Morty, you start to fear for Ginting with the scoreline looking the way it is.
Yeah.
Længere udefra. Og det her. Men hvad er det der? Når der ikke er noget i duellen, så spiller du bare. Så må du tage den fysiske kamp, fordi så inden for det.
11-7. Play.
Well, almost an exhibition at times from the Olympic champion. Not for the first time, Ginting sees a speeding shuttle heading arrow-like down the line. I think if Ginting had a white flag, he'd be waving it now.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Trailing 6 points now. I think this match is virtually beyond him already. He doesn't have the answer today. And as I say, Viktor is simply just sitting back and waiting, playing the odd good shots now and again, but otherwise just waiting.
Well, he's trying to hit his way out of trouble, but even that's not working.
I think that one is in. Line judge is saying he's onside it. So no one is going to lose a challenge in this one. Yeah, it's in.
Service over 9-14.
Well, if he's going to mount any kind of a fight back, it's got to start now. You would think Ginting wins 3 or 4 points in quick succession. Might sow the odd seed of doubt in Axelsen's mind. Doesn't look likely though, does it?
No, it's almost a secure point every time Axelsen goes to attack. Every time he decides to go into attack, it's virtually a secured point.
Look where he's played that from, and almost mid-court. The lift from Ginting just wasn't deep enough.
Service over 10-15.
Called in on the back line.
So a combination of Axelsen brilliance, a load of unforced errors from Ginting, and a few errors of judgment mean that it will take much longer for the Danes to get the lead in this tie. Picked up again.
Yeah. Ginting really needs to go down the line on this one. This one here, as you can see, Axelsen, even though the way how he's placing his feet, his footwork, he's waiting for that forehand and it's just simply too easy for him.
Yeah, it was right in the hitting zone. He didn't disappoint. They're certainly not disappointed. So a local Aarhus football club that play their home matches just right adjacent to the arena here, and they've, that's a mark of respect, they moved their match to Monday. And yet apart the coaches, and many room with all these badminton fans in.
They really had a headache. I knew that because I know some of them, and they said, oh, we don't know how to do it. So they decided to move the match till Monday.
Just missed Axelsen.
11-18.
Collector's item as Axelsen finds the net.
Line judge.
I think we had a very fine example of the tactics of Axelsen from here. He played a few matches, tried to finish the rally, it didn't work. It was just back to, let's say, love all play, just keep going, keep it going. And eventually the mistake is coming from Ginting. So Axelsen is all the time prepared to start the rally, in the rally again. Should he not be successful, okay, just get it to the back line and we start again. And this one is in.
Yeah, it's a late decision.
Yeah.
Got away with it.
See, then lifting to the back line. It's not often you see Ginting start playing these defensive clears. He's a natural attacking player. But he is definitely forcing Axelsen to play the shot from the back line.
So a couple of lengthy rallies. But it looks like it's going to be academic. Cheers you can hear in the background because Japan have just taken the first match against China. The Motta's won in singles on court 2. Here on court 1, Axelsen closing in on the opening match for Denmark.
And that's wide. I must say, I think the change of tactic from Ginting is actually working out quite nicely.
Just a bit late.
Yeah, the thing is that, yeah, it's a bit late. But the thing is that Axelsen suddenly is forced to play all his shots from the back. As long as Ginting is playing with proper length, it means that Axelsen have to generate all the pace and power himself. He's not given anything. And that's definitely making a change.
Bit of late defiance here from the Indonesian.
Victor. Victor. Do not seek coaching.
Well, he's always going to challenge that.
Both of the players wanted to challenge it.
Yeah.
Either way.
It was called out, so Ginting is going to need some help from Hawkeye here. Otherwise, it's going to be match points down. It's actually one of our Hawkeye cameras, and it says out, which means match points here for Axelsen.
But maybe Ginting have found the answer for future matches in terms of strategy.
You went into your opponent's court.
And the match is given to Axelsen. That point goes against Ginting. He doesn't like it. But the American umpire, TotalEnergies, not having any of it. So in rather unusual circumstances, Axelsen takes the second game, 21-15. Ginting just looks completely nonplussed, like the whole world's against him.
You cannot cross into his court with your racket. Yes, your racket went into his court.
Well, quite clear what the umpire's saying.
You cannot go into your court. Yeah, that's how it is.
There's nothing he can do about it. That's the end of the opening match. Denmark have one win in the bag.
Racket went into your court.
It will be very, very interesting to see that last one.
Well, they got the result they wanted. There'll be tougher battles ahead. You would think in the doubles particularly, but let's have a look at that last point. Here it is, Horn. It was clear the shuttle stayed on Axelsen's side, but what about Ginting's racket?
Yeah, but as long as Ginting is hitting the shot on his own side, he can actually follow through the racket onto the other side. In all honesty, I'm not entirely convinced it's a fault.
Yeah.
Not entirely. Have to say that.
Either way, it is a victory for Viktor Axelsen and Denmark. 45 minutes, the total match time. 21-9, 21-15. Should probably say in TotalEnergies' defence, he only gets one look at it, obviously at full speed, and had to make the call, which he did. And Axelsen delivers, as all of Denmark hoped that he would, and passes the baton over to the doubles pair, the first doubles pair, Astrup and Rasmussen. That's next. Welcome back to Aarhus. It's the cathedral in the city. Dates way back to the 12th century. It's actually the longest and the tallest in the country. 305 feet long and 315 feet high. That's about 100 metres if you want it in metric. So, first blood to Denmark. Axelsen with a 2-love victory over Anthony Ginting. And that sets up our